like a quiet assassin, isn't he? A silent assassin that's crept into the semi-finals, hasn't attained too much media attention, but he's got a great all-round game. As the lad said, he's Mr. Reliable. Judd Trump is going to have to scrape him off the table to beat him today.
And a world finalist.
A world finalist, you know, a semi-finalist twice as well at the Worlds as well. Funny, I was watching the match with Neil Robertson, Judd Trump in the tournament office with Barry Hawkins. And he said, I hope Judd Trump has actually burnt himself out for tomorrow. Yeah. So that's what he's hoping today. But it's going to be a tough match for Judd.
Tonight's match, Ronnie O'Sullivan, Stuart Bingham. Stuart Bingham looks like all of a sudden he's relaxed a bit and enjoyed himself with the albatross around his neck of being world champion. Yeah, absolutely. He played very well last night against John Higgins. And, you know, the last man to beat O'Sullivan, the last time they played in the quarterfinals of the World Championship, he's going to have his own support here. OK, a lot of fans for Ronnie O'Sullivan, but Stuart Bingham only lives down the road as well. He's going to be really up for it. And Ronnie will have to be on his guard against Stuart Bingham because he's getting better and better as the tournament has gone on, Stuart Bingham. Turning our attention to Judd Trump, do you think he's going to suffer any type of hangover after the frenzy of yesterday? Yeah. Well, one of the best matches that we've ever seen in a best of 11, no doubt about it. It was fantastic quality. And that's the big question. Is he going to suffer a hangover? He's the favourite now, not the underdog this time in the match. And that'll be the question, the burning question. And we'll wait and see. Back to Hazel.
Thanks, guys. Yes, another 2,000-strong crowd in today. Record attendances all week. And today, the Hawk taking on the Juggernaut. They've met only once before in the Masters, and that was a match that went all the way to a decider 3 years ago. Are we going to get another thriller to warm us up as the temperatures fall outside today? Let's find out, because MC Rob Walker, you're all set there.
Yes, thanks, Hazel. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to semi-final Saturday here at the Dafabet Masters. Neither of these players have been in the final before. What an occasion, what an opportunity, and what a backdrop for the drama to come. Ladies and gents, it's showtime here at Ali Pali. Please welcome a player enjoying the best Masters run of his career so far. He has flourished in the last few seasons, winning the Aussie Open in 2012 and the PTC Grand Finals 2 years later. Beating Mark Allen 6-2 in the quarterfinals, the World Championship finalist is ready to roar once more. Here he comes, Barry Hawkins. And his opponent, the most exciting player of his generation. His record-breaking win against Neil Robertson yesterday was simply sensational. It was one of the best matches he's ever played. When he's in the groove, he is irresistible to watch. So here he is, with his own brand of naughty snooker, the ace in the pack. He's Judd Trump.
Yes, they're playing for a place in the Masters final and a guaranteed cheque of £90,000 at least. But more importantly for these two men, another shot at one of snooker's big three titles. Forward to this. Good afternoon to you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Very good afternoon, Hazel. Good afternoon, everyone.
Barry Hawkins to break.
And Barry did win the toss, and he's breaking off in this battle of the left-handers. And the big question, John, is can Judd keep going from where he left off yesterday?
Yes, that is the big question. Performance against Neil Robertson, it was stupendous. But yeah, it's back to work again today. And when we were in the studio yesterday, Dennis, just as he was leaving and he'd done his interview, Stephen Hendry leaned over and said, "You do realise you're only halfway through," which I thought was a really nice comment to leave him with, just to let him know that That was a brilliant performance, well played, but you've got a lot more work to do. And it can be awkward when you've had a peak performance to come back the next day. So we'll find out.
Yeah, I think Judd in one of his interviews earlier in the week was saying, you know, and it can happen. You can beat a player 6-0, go out the next day and lose 6-0 to the same player. It's the nature of the game of snooker. That's what makes it so fascinating. Very impressive this week, Barry Hawkins. He went through a bit of a lean spell, John. Remember he lost, was it the UK? He lost to Nigel Bond from 5-0 in front, lost 6-5. Took a little bit of getting over that one.
Yeah, it was interesting listening to the boys as we were coming on air today, and they, you know, all the players know how good a player Barry Hawkins is. He probably doesn't get the recognition to the public that we all think he deserves. He's a top-class match player. Very rarely plays the wrong shot. And everything he does play is usually played to a very high standard. You've got to beat Barry Hawkins. He doesn't give you too many opportunities. I think he's a top-class match player. And also, Dennis, a very nice lad.
Yeah, you heard all the players talking about him. He's a smashing fellow. And can he produce his top game? He knows he'll have to, the way Judd has been playing.
Thank you.
Oh, good shot from Barry, that. He's well, you can see the way he's queuing across that slightly. Just, ooh, and he's hit the blue.
And a miss.
Does look very tight, that shot he's trying to play.
Judd Trump 5. Sorry, Barry Hawkins 5.
Those names are getting to everyone.
A very rare mistake from Jan Verhaas, the most experienced referee we have. There you see, just catching the edge of the blue. So there's no red available. We'll have it put back.
Now, these are really tricky, aren't they? Because obviously this is, you've got to get this absolutely right, and Judd will help the referee as much as he can, but the edge he's trying to clip here really is very fine. Just watch Judd when he plays this again. And Sean Murphy mentioned his cue action, that he sort of lines up across the ball and then it's as he straightens up. I always think these situations that really difficult, isn't it, to get the cue ball exactly right here.
Yeah, he's making it worse for himself there. You don't want to take an advantage, but you're absolutely right. It's so difficult to get it absolutely spot on.
Can you bring it up, Ollie? I know it's got to be fractions. I don't know whether.
Yeah, even bringing it up on the screen is not going to help in this instance, I don't think. It's only fractions we're talking about.
Yeah, the players here are just so honest as well. The one thing Judd will not want to do is to get any advantage from this here. He'll want it to be absolutely spot on, exactly how it was. It's like an unwritten rule between the players, Dennis, isn't it?
Yeah, he can obviously hit it because he wouldn't have played the shot. You know.
There we go. So if he's having, well, he's changing his mind now. He may just decide to drop on the top red on the top cushion instead. It's too tight. Good shot. Once again, Dennis, this venue's got an absolutely packed audience today. Wonderful crowds we've had at Alexandra Palace all week. And I always think this is one of the great sporting events. Saturday afternoon at the Masters takes me back to the good old days of watching on grandstand with David Vine presenting and Ted Lowe in the commentary box, and me watching and always wishing that I could be here playing in this wonderful tournament in the semi-final stages. Brilliant occasion.
pretty good. Judged that to perfection.
Yeah, watch the cue action here. You see Judd, he'll be down on the shot and he'll just go slightly across this. It's just one of the traits of his particular cue action. Doesn't stop him playing well. It's just the way he does it, but it is a little different.
It's turning into a little bit of an awkward frame with the black now tied up. And he won't mind a bit of a safety battle here, Barry. Helping to settle into his semi-final and keep his opponent away from the table, but he might knock this in. It was close. Now, where's it going to finish? That's the question. He's going to stick it up over the middle, so first chance falls to Barry.
One.
Well, he's got an angle on the blue if he should wish to try and develop the black and reds, but he wouldn't be guaranteed good position on a red. He's got the pink and blue in the open. So.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dennis. I think if there's a red over the pocket somewhere, he'd be playing that cannon straight away to get the black in play, but as there isn't, he'll try and sort something else out.
6.
We've got the bottom red just away from the bunch there. He can play off, back up for the blue.
Seven.
A little bit too close for comfort, that red towards the corner there. He must have thought as he played that cannon, but it's all right. And then nice little shot with a bit of side up for the pink.
13.
And he looks comfortable. You'd expect it. He's a top-class match player. If you reach the final of the World Championship, you can play, and you can certainly handle the situation as well. Always nice in the opening frame to get your hand on the table.
Tell you what is amazing these days, John, how many of the top players are left-handed going way back. There's only 1 or 2 players.
19.
I mean, even in this tournament alone. You've got these 2 players.
20.
You had Neil Robertson, Mark Allen, Mark Williams. And I suppose you could say Ronnie O'Sullivan's left-handed as well when he wants to be.
26. I
mentioned the other night when we were in the studio, I think it was talking about Barry saying that there's an economy of effort with the cue ball. That's because his break building is very good. He wants to keep the cue ball in towards the object ball nice and tight. And that's the art of break building. If you can make it look simple and you're doing it correctly. A lovely touch.
33.
Doesn't have to worry about that black now. He's got the reds nicely placed, the pink in the open. And if he could win this opening frame with one visit, it would send a message out to Judd. Judd only missed the first shot. I mean,
40.
the only ball he could leave the way he played it was the one that he attempted to pot. And on
41.
that occasion, it did finish over the middle pocket, so this is the result.
Yeah, they got an interesting head-to-head as well, these two, and he played on 4 occasions. It's currently 2-2, so he won't be in total awe of the talent of Judd Trump, will Barry Hawkins. He's beaten him a couple of times before. He can do it again. He's taken these nicely so far.
46. $47.
So this, the obvious red, then the one to
52.
the right hand side of the black and the loose red is potable in the middle. Also
53.
I'm just dropping the pink in and got the red on the right hand side, so that'll be next. He's taken these beautifully, Dennis, hasn't he? Lovely touch.
59.
And if he can knock this in and get nicely on the pink, it'll be the end of the opening frame.
60.
It looks as if we're in for
66.
another cracking match here, where Barry has started.
67.
Just looking at the scoreboard, but he's over the line, or the winning line at the moment. That makes absolutely certain.
Well, hugely impressive, this.
73.
First visit to the table with a chance, and he's won the frame off it. Very impressive indeed.
74.
And if Judd Trump was in any doubt about how his opponent was going to be playing today, he's just found out. Excellent.
And if that red next to the black is available,
80.
every chance of a century break, and it does go. The crowd were urging that red to keep running there.
$88. $89.
Pink's the better ball to get onto that final red.
The standard this week has been absolutely stellar.
95.
It really has. These boys really are good.
What a way to start a match. Fantastic break from Barry Hawkins.
103.
That's the 11th century in this year's Masters, or the 21st
105.
century, I should say. 31's the record.
So, 108. 112.
It has to be said, these tables are playing
117.
beautifully. This one and the tables in the practice area. I had a knock around on them. They're absolutely beautiful.
123.
What a start from Barry Hawkins. Judd Trump attempted a long putt. He didn't get it, and he remained in his seat as Barry cleared the table with a magnificent break of 130, and he leads 1-0.
10, as you say, what a start. Great stuff. Back we go.
Not the break off like he intended, but fortunate enough to cover that red that's come up towards the blue with the brown, so just into the side of the pack. Well, he's playing it off the two cushions just to guard against leaving the loose red, which is a better shot. I know one thing though, Dennis, Judd Trump must be getting fed up of watching everyone play brilliant against him, because Neil Robertson did yesterday. Took a performance that was as good as I've seen from Judd to knock out the Australian. And as Barry started with 130, so Judd must be thinking, is anyone ever going to miss against me?
Yeah, I thought Neil's interview afterwards was first class. He said, you've got to hold your hand up when a player plays like that. Meanwhile, he hasn't played the best of safety shots. Okay, he's close to the cushion, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't slot this one in. Don't think this red to the left of the bunch is available. He's got an angle, but he'd have to be very precise to hit the pink full ball. Not the perfect angle, but he may have to attempt it. It might be okay, that. Yeah. It's difficult to judge that one,
6.
John, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's couldn't come out any better. The only thing with that shot is sometimes you can flick the cue ball in the corner pocket, but the way that ran round there, well, I couldn't have asked for any more. In the match yesterday, Judd Trump was the one that was making all the running, wasn't he? Going 2 frames ahead and getting pegged back by Neil Robertson, but different today so far. Okay, he's only lost the first frame, but it was the way Barry went about it that put down his intent.
14. He
was a bit reluctant to play for the black there because he knew the bunch of reds weren't ideally placed to cannon into off the black. That's why he changed his mind and played for the blue. And I don't think he can hold for the blue this time. He would have liked to have and then gone into the pink again.
20.
But I'm not sure he can hold.
Just wondering, Dennis, whether those 2 reds at the back of the pack as well are easily made into a plant.
21.
Nobody's had a look at those, Barry, but if they're not, he'll be playing the cannon in there. Well, we can see that they're not a plant into the pocket. So nice firm stun into these.
That's where you hit the ball when you play a stun shot. And that will do very nicely. Terrific shot there. Right in the centre, and you punch the shot. He played that perfectly.
Yeah, type of shot that if you play that with screw instead, you can hit the pack and bring the cue ball back towards the top cushion. So you stun it out with a little bit of side, bring the cue ball up the table. And he couldn't have played that much better.
His nickname is the Hawk. I can tell you what, he's certainly got his eye in at the moment, that's for sure.
What's impressive for me, Dennis, is his demeanour. Looks as cool as anything out there. Not a bit flustered. Looks like he's really enjoying the occasion.
Well, as some of the players were saying, he's such a laid-back character. He's a bit like, what would you say, a mini Mark Williams? Dresses much better than Mark, that's for sure.
Who doesn't?
Thank you. 35. 36.
And just talking about Mark Williams, what a performance he put in this year's Masters. He almost knocked out Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Yeah, he's one of my favourite players to watch on the circuit, Mark. I think he's very clever the way he plays the game.
41.
Wonderful touch, and still playing at the top of the game, which is great credit to him. Meanwhile, Barry Hawkins is going about his business in a very impressive
42.
fashion here. Cannon to flick the red out just and above to the left of the black. Should open the red below it. The cue ball's run away there. Didn't get the cannon. Wanted a thicker cannon than
49.
that one. Certainly not on the intended red. And these are a little tricky when you get close to them and you can't see the pocket in your eye line. So this red in the centre wants a little bit of respect.
In the end, he made it look very easy, but very well judged. Well, is he going to take this second frame with one visit?
57.
Keeps his head very, very still on the shot, doesn't he, John?
Does a lot of things right, Dennis, doesn't he? Just an all-round top-class player. I must confess, with the record he had here at the Masters, you'd have been hard-pressed to see him here at this stage. He's played 5 occasions previously, lost in the first round every time. And after getting past his good pal Joe Perry,
65.
Beat Mark Allen 6-2 with very good match play, and Judd Trump knows he's in for a very tough afternoon here, the way his opponent's playing. You can't get better than no miss snooker.
66.
Yeah, Judd's only had a go at that long red, and that's it. He's just sat in his seat for the remainder of the time. was beautifully played.
73. $74.
Surely not. Surely he couldn't start with 2 centuries. Judd holds the highest
81.
break, a break of 140, superseding Neil Robertson's 139.
82.
Play a little cannon here and just flick the other red away from the pink.
89.
Just put it into play.
$90.
And if that red is not available, he can
95.
pop this and just flick it out, but he'll want to make sure of the century. He has nudged it out.
96.
He's covered with the blue. The red's blocking the way through to the blue, so the pink for his back-to-back centuries. Absolutely brilliant.
$102. $103.
This capacity audience, John, came here. They weren't sure what they were going to expect, but I don't think they were expecting 2 centuries from Barry to start the match off. It's fascinating.
You know, this used to be a hard game, Dennis, didn't it?
108.
He's making this table look like a pool table, Barry Hawkins, at the minute. Pockets must look like the buckets.
110.
His cue ball control has been superb. And you simply cannot play better than this to start a semi-final. Wonderful stuff.
113.
We talk about yesterday's match with Neil Robertson being the greatest match ever in the Masters. I mean, the way this has started, who knows how this is going to finish. This could be one of the all-time great matches.
122.
Slightly overrun his position there, which is something we haven't said today.
But everything's been going into the centre of the pocket. He's not touching the sides, and that tells you you're cueing well. What a shame the black didn't go in, but he started with a break of 130. He's followed that up with a break of 128. What snooker, and he leads Judd Trump by 2 frames to 0. A few people coming in just a little bit late. They've missed a treat, haven't they? It's a bit like you going to Everton and missing the first 2 goals. Have you ever scored 2 goals, John?
we score lots of goals at the moment, Dennis. Unfortunately, we let a few in as well, but it's unbelievable, the start from Barry Hawkins in this particular match. To start with 130 and 128 is just dreamland in one of the biggest matches of your career.
Thank you, Barry.
Wonderful stuff.
Thank you. Frame 3. Barry Hawkins to break.
Almost caught the blue with the break-off shot there. Now this is a chance. It's a half chance for a Judd Trump special, but he's been kept off the table. He'll get a great cheer if he can knock this one in.
And that really is top draw. To be able to knock that in after what he's just witnessed from his opponent, great credit.
Put the camera away, please.
Now, Judd, has that gone wrong?
I think it has. He's going to have to pull another cracking pot out. They're covered, but this one will go up into the left corner up past the blue. Brilliant. Not perfectly on the black, but he'll be going into the reds. It wasn't
Drop from 9.
on the black as he would have liked, but at least he hasn't left anything easy for Barry. There's one pot on, and he'd need the extension on his cue, the extension on the rest to clip it in.
Yeah, this type of shot, really, if you were just dropping that in dead weight, you'd probably pop, but the fact you had to play the little screw shot to get the cannon there just widened the angle on it for Judd. But it was the first, after he knocked that great long red in, it was that first cannon he just overhit. It caused the problem there, because they looked pretty good, those reds, until he lost position.
As you can see, he's got a good angle on the blue.
Six. Seven.
I saw Barry very early this morning. He was in the practice room on his own. All the other players got in. On his own as a player, but he was in there with Terry Griffiths, who's been helping him out and mentoring him. And if anybody knows top-class tournament snooker, it's Terry, so he'd be a big help to Barry approaching today. Been there, seen it, done it. Great champion in his own time. Always nice to have a Terry in your corner. Hmm.
21.
An interesting little shot. It's the first time I think he's played a poor positional shot. Just wanted another couple of inches there to drop on the bottom red, but he's come straight. Change his plan with his position there, so he can screw straight back for these two reds instead.
Yeah.
He just looks in the zone to me, Barry Hawkins. He really does.
Amazing.
28.
Had the cue ball cleaned. Maybe that just took his concentration slightly away. And all of a sudden he's missed a sitter.
One.
Yeah, I really didn't see that coming, and neither did he. Little shake of his head there, just saying how focused he looked, and well, he'll be as amazed as anybody who's missed that one. Always looked a little bit wide, didn't it? And so it proved.
He would have loved an angle on this red to be able to pot it and open the reds up with the pink right over the pocket, but he can't do that, as you can see. But if he could get on that red this time, there's still one available at the back of that little bunch. I mean, he could cannon into them, but if he's got the angle to get on that in such a way, he could pot it and open the reds up. And that's what he's played. Needs to pull up a little bit. And because the pink's over the pocket, he's guaranteed to be on it, and he's going to open the rest of the reds up. Well judged there.
Yeah.
13.
Good call, Dennis, and classic example of how to make a break that. Just left it purposely low, potted the reds, split them up, and a great chance. But one ladled with pressure. He needs to get involved in this match, Judd. He's been frozen out for 2 frames. He knows his opponent's playing well. Got to score.
$20.
Just come up a little bit short, but it should be okay. Going to have to play a medium length pot. Much better if you can keep closer control.
25.
Amazing. Amazing. It was just getting the wrong side
25.
of the blue, but I still fancied him to knock that in. Now that is an indication that just a little bit of movement there. And having said that, the red jumped a little as well. That didn't help, but I don't think he cued that one all that well. Oh, what a chance he's let slip there.
Yeah. So just getting the right side of the blue, isn't it? He gets on the correct side of the blue there. He keeps the cue ball much tighter and closer to the object ball. Still like you, Dennis, I didn't think he'd miss that, but well, he's had a reprieve. So his second chance.
Just a couple of fairly easy balls that Barry's missed after those 2 centuries. Incredible. Judd was 2-0 up against Neil Robertson, so he's done the opposite here. 2-0 down.
That was a good strike there. Straight on that green, could have easily got that one wrong, but when he left it, he had a choice of 3 reds. So really, as I say, beautiful bit of cue in there just to get that spot on. There's no excuse now why you can't take this frame. They're there.
Yeah, and as we always say, you never settle until you get your first frame on the board, and well, you had no chance in the 2 opening frames.
Thanks. 11. $17. 18.
'Here's the pink up by Sterling in the frame.
24.
How big a ball might that be in the context of the match? 2-0 up. His opponent on the rack there.
26.
I think it unsettled them a little bit because he missed a comfortable red into the right middle pocket also.
29.
Well, there's a little naughty shot from Judd, as he always likes to do at the end of a frame. get you the wobbles to win in.
44.
And probably a double to finish off with it at 100 miles an hour. Well, 200 miles an hour. It's in. It's in. There you go. That's the way to finish. Even Barry has a big smile. So Barry Hawkins never looked like missing, and then all of a sudden he misses that sitter of a pink, and Judd has got his first frame on the board, but he still trails 2 frames to 1.
Reflect on that and cope with it. But big frame coming up before the interval.
It is indeed, and I know John Parrott was talking about the old days, watching the Masters semi-finals when he was a kid. And John, I should tell you, this is the first all-English Masters semi-final since 1988, when you, Mr. Davis, Hallett and Jimmy White were in the semi-final. So the good old days, remember, eh?
Ah, happy times.
Yeah, the Masters used to be played at the Wembley Conference Centre. Fabulous venue. Probably a little bit bigger than Ali Pali, but the people are so close to the table here. Back at the Conference Centre, you could be quite away from the table, but it held nearly 3,000 people, the Conference Centre. I remember playing in a final against Alex Higgins with 2,700 people there. Never forget that as long as I live.
Yeah. Dennis, yours used to fall over the plant arrangements, didn't you? Every time you go back to your table to remember the plants used to be very close to the table.
That's right, and it was a circle, wasn't it? And as Barry just comes off the side cushion to land in the pack. On one of the early occasions I was introduced and I couldn't find my way into the arena. There was a little door that used to open and I couldn't find it.
Yes, happy days, but I do think this is a wonderful venue. I really do. Brilliant atmosphere.
And that was where the MC, remember, he introduced Jimmy White as Jimmy Young.
Home of the infamous streaker as well. I remember that one.
I was in the commentary box when she went underneath it. I was looking at the table at the time.
Settle down, please. Thank you.
This is a little bit of trouble for him. Going to play off the side of these. You're going to hit this very thin indeed. And you can't guarantee that you're going to not contact the blue on the way past either. On the way back, I should say. Yep, there was a fair degree of difficulty in that shot.
Well, we just call this a half chance at the moment because the pink's out of commission. I don't think the black goes into the left corner. And the two reds are tied up next to the black. If the black does pot, it will help the situation for a few shots' time. It looks as if it is available, so it's not tied up. A few more shots to be played before he is able to get onto the black. Yeah, he's had a quick look at it. It's a fairly tight one.
Thank you. 7. Come on, John.
Yeah, it's one of those situations that you really need to be that side of the table where Judd is to properly see whether that goes or not. Always, when players come over look from behind the pocket, but I don't think that really makes too much of a difference. You can always seem to feel as if you can make the pot go from behind the pocket. It needs to be the other side to get a good judgment on it. But if he's looking at it for this length of time, it's obviously very tight.
Well, as we zoom in, it looks as if it will go, but I don't think he's got an angle on the red to play for the black on this occasion, so he'll have to concentrate on the blue. See, that type of shot, he hits that so well without really forcing it.
Yeah, beautiful timing, really is. Probably have to say that Barry Hawkins' positional play so far today has been a little tighter than Judd's. Cue ball control when he made those 2 breaks was just superb. And Judd is such a good potter and so much cue power, he just seems to be able to rescue the situations when he slightly goes awry. And he's still not sure about that black. He's been shaking his head, Judd, wondering whether that does go or not.
15.
Well, that's about the 4th time he's looked at that. It's still exactly the same. He's playing for it. And
16.
if he's got an angle, he can nudge the other reds away, although he may not have that. No, not on this occasion. And you've got to play it now, Judd. Amazing. In the end, we did think it was tight, and in the end, he
16.
put it onto the red.
Yep, it was always looking like that, wasn't it? It was really tight. In fact, it was sort of not directly in line with that red. Slightly behind it's probably confused the issue there. I mean, no top-class professional is going to take a shot on they don't think goes, but that was extremely tight.
Well, at least he got away with it. He didn't put Barry in.
Excellent safety shot. Excellent weight on the cue ball.
Bit of a free shot here. Shot to nothing. Brilliant pot.
Yeah, that'll teach him to play good safety shots. Incredible pot.
Ramble. Trump, 1.
Yeah, when we call it a shot to nothing, it's where you take a pot like this on a very difficult pot and you know you're going to get a safety shot if you happen to miss it. But in the end, rolling up behind the brown has given him a slight advantage. He's gone twice across the table here to land on the red. He doesn't want to slip past this, otherwise he'll leave it up. Oh, that's a bit careless from Barry.
Yeah, and the worst part as well is he's just got to drop this red in dead weight. I mean, these can be pretty difficult down the top cushion, but just dropping it in.
1.
He's left in perfect position. So you just feel as if the momentum has slightly changed in this match. And I'm going to harp back on about that pink, but when it was 2-0 and he was in the balls, that miss on the pink could be very crucial indeed in this match. He had his opponent on the rack, did Barry Hawkins.
Yeah, even
9.
in the best of 11, you can always pick out one shot that can turn a match, and that was the shot that John was referring to. Oh, he hasn't judged the cannon. Is he okay? Just about, I think.
16.
Yep, no problem.
17.
Yeah, Steve was talking in the studio when we went back before, saying, you know, some players a
24.
little bit more ruthless in that capacity for keeping the pressure on. And obviously, we know that, Dennis, that Steve was certainly one of those, and Stephen Hendry, another one. Great champions here. He thought there was any weakness or they were on top and they needed to keep you in your seat. They'd be trying as hard as anybody to do that. 2-0 became 3-0, became 4-0. That's why they were great champions.
First little bit of a test here.
32.
Not straightforward this, but he makes them look easy. Well played.
33.
Yeah, there's so many players now playing to such a high standard, but yeah, Steve Davis, if you made a mistake, you used to go and sit down and get yourself ready for the next frame. So he just needs another red after this black. And it may be a possible plant which would
40.
secure the frame if the plant goes in. Let's have a look. Is it in line with the pocket? Yeah, that looks good to me. That's Jackie's brother and his girlfriend Khadijah. They'll be feeling much better now after watching the two opening frames there, where they've been wondering what was going on.
Yellow.
Yes, and okay, he had a little bit of help in frame 3 with Barry missing a couple of opportunities, Judd Trump, but he'll be delighted to get to the mid-session interval 2-2. He's played very well in
43.
this frame. To be sitting in your chair for so long and seeing
44.
your opponent start with breaks of 130 and 128, you'd have taken 2-2 at the interval all day long. Great response.
51.
He got a terrible
52.
kick there, which has spoiled the break. Now, is he going to double the pink across the table? I don't think these two are a plant. Because there's just a possibility he could
58.
make a century break. I don't know if he can squeeze that. It's going to the left of the pocket, as you can see. If they were touching, he might be able to squeeze the second red. No, it wasn't on. No century break, but I'll tell you what, Jeff Trump will be absolutely delighted. That break of 58 levels the scores, and we go to the mid-session interval, 2 frames on.
Okay.
So both players back into the auditorium.
Let's let these 4 guys go in.
Yeah, myself and Dennis had a cup of tea there. And both players seem very relaxed.
Thank you, frame 5.
Backstage.
Barry Hawkins to break.
Terry Griffiths having a little chat with Barry Hawkins, and Judd having a little bite to eat. So both players enjoying a little bit of downtime in the middle of this cracking semi-final.
Yeah, no need to go to the practice room. They're both playing fairly well. I've been here just over a week, so the game is very sharp. It's just you'd head to the practice table if you're struggling a little bit. putt success rate identical on 91%. That's for the tournament. And the safety success, well, that's amazing, both on 85%. That tells you a story. You wouldn't have maybe had that stat for Judd a couple of seasons ago. He has changed his game slightly. And for the better, it has to be said, because you just can't keep potting your way to winning tournaments. You've got to have a good tactical game as well. And this frame already a little awkward with 2 reds up the other end of the table. The safety zone's now behind the black.
You always got to be careful with that shot. You sometimes get obsessed with getting the cue ball so tight that reds can flick out and go towards the middle pocket. So whilst it looks simple, certainly on these very fast cloths, the reds open very quickly. But Judd's played that pretty well.
Yeah, if there wasn't reds available, the one next to the black's available, he could have a go at the one into the left middle pocket and drop on the pink, but he can't risk that because he'd put Judd right in amongst them. That's amazing where that red's finished in the final frame against Neil Robertson. White was in the jaws of the corner pocket and Judd knocked a red like that in and won the match with a century break. It wasn't easy that he had a go at it, but he knew he was going to get a reasonable cue ball. I don't think there's no plants on. I think there's 2 there, but they're not on for the right middle pocket. Is there 2 on for the right corner? There's another 2 reds at the left side of the bunch. They're obviously not in line either. Oh, he's taking the back double on. He'll be on the black if it goes in. Clever shot. Very clever shot.
Yeah. Couldn't agree with you more. Played the double there, but also elements of safety. Only really the red that he played. He could probably stick up if it hit the jaw and come back. He could have left it, but the way he played that was very smart. And he does play shots different to other people.
8.
What makes him attractive to watch and difficult to play against. I mentioned yesterday, sometimes there's not a uniformity to the game when you play against Judd. It's not always
9.
like you get with other players, but it makes him very easy on the eye. Does play a lot of different shots, and that one was very clever.
11.
There's a real lapse in concentration there. He was away a couple of shots ahead of himself, and well, how do you miss one that easy? It's amazing. In this game, if you don't give every shot 100% concentration, it's incredible what can be missed.
Well, I'm in a state of shock he missed that, and I'm sure he must be, because really that was an absolute sitter. Oh, good shot.
Nine.
Loads of top spin. Straight through the pack. It's the cue ball jump here. Ooh.
In the old days, that could have been a foul shot, but you have to jump over an intervening ball, so you can play a pot like that, and it doesn't matter if the white bounces over other balls.
Yeah, still got a little bit of work to do here, and obviously you'd fancy Barry to knock this black in, but the next red has to be the one that's on the top cushion, I think, unless he can manufacture something else. So good cueing required for these. Well played. And these are not easy.
16.
Well, they're not too bad if you're just dropping them in, but when you're playing them with a bit of pace, you've got to be spot on.
17.
No problem.
Seems to get a bit of check
24.
side on that he didn't want. Cue ball came off the cushion, very strange there. It's this when it comes off. Didn't go the normal angle, just checked up.
$25.
Decent recovery.
And it's helped the situation. He's pushed the red near the left corner. He can get onto that after the pink here. And I say he can get onto it. Has he gone far enough? There's one to the middle. I think he's okay.
31.
Plenty of room. Great chance for Barry here. And if he can punish that
32.
very bad mistake from Judd, it will give Judd something to think about.
$39. 40.
He was a bit reluctant to play a cannon there. He's got the balls nicely open.
47.
And you know, when you risk playing a cannon, it can always go wrong. Tell you what, his heart was in his mouth there.
He mishit that because he didn't really want the cue ball going anywhere in the middle pocket there. He got a little bit lucky. That's one you needed to screw a bit more just to make sure that you didn't throw the angle wide. But now it's happened. It's perfect position. Yeah, I remember reading many years ago, Dennis, an old Joe Davis book, an instruction to him when I first started. My father showed me, he said there's no such thing as an easy shot. And it just still applies today, as it always did. How did Judd Trump miss that red in the middle?
54.
Yeah, it's one of the easiest shots you could ever wish to have. And it's definitely going to cost him the frame, because look at the situation of the balls
59.
here. They're perfectly placed.
$60.
So the interval coming at the right time for Barry Hawkins. Made those two magnificent century breaks, then went off the boil, missed an easy pink, missed a fairly comfortable red. But he's back to the way he started the match. With a little help from his
67.
friend.
Those horrible situations if you judge Trump where you're just sitting in your chair absolutely squirming at the miss you've just made.
74.
To sit and watch your opponent put all the balls that should have been yours.
Barry Hawkins,
Well, no
74,
century break, but
and
Barry
frame.
won't be too disappointed about that. That magnificent break of 74 is more than enough to get him back into the lead. He now leads 3 frames to 2.
It remains to be seen if it has any bearing, but it's certainly lost a frame.
Yeah, and Judd finds himself in chasing mode once again.
Meanwhile, he's made a reasonable break-off shot. Can't really take the pot on there because he would go straight into the pink. So it'll be just a safety shot. And not the best safety shot. Where's this red going? Hold on a minute. Wow. I think everyone in the alley-pally thought that red was going to drop.
Thank you, that'll do, thanks.
It was a poor safety he played there.
Thanks.
Judd could do with knocking a few in here just to erase that sitter that he missed in the previous frame.
Just played in an area there where
8.
you've got an option of 2. The bottom red at the pack is available, and if he pots this, he'll certainly move some other reds about. Yeah, played a nice controlled shot there. Promoted a couple of reds into play.
$16. $17.
Just having a look to see about the loose reds. They're not a good pack to go into at the moment.
$24.
Still a few reds available.
$25.
That might just be okay. There's one to the right that'll go. And
32.
he stunned it in rather than screwing it in, because you can stick in the back of the reds if you screw it. Always let that go. That's a little lapse in concentration there. He knew he was cannoning the other red, and he's just misjudged it. This is tough. Oh, that's brilliant. That is a terrific recovery. It really is. That is such a tough shot, cutting it back into a blind pocket. You can't see the pocket in your eye line.
41.
Yes, that was a terrific recovery. He'd have been very disappointed to see his positional shot prior to that. So that was an excellent pot. A pot of somebody who's been putting plenty of hours in on the practice table. He certainly did that over the Christmas period.
48.
I believe he didn't even go home for Christmas this year. He stayed down where he practices, put all
49.
the hours in, so he's certainly making the sacrifices. He realises, Judd, that at the time of his career where he should be winning major championships, well, he's certainly paying his dues.
56.
Yeah, his family live in the
57.
Bristol area. In fact, Judd used to practice at the Kencham Snooker Centre, played there a few times. It's just finished a little awkward, as he just, you can see the way
64.
Judd just looked away from the table there. He's gone a little bit too far for one red and not quite far enough for the other. See a fraction either way. This is still a straightforward pot, but he's having to cannon the red. He could have done without that, so he's looking at the slightly more difficult pot here. He's 64 in front, so he's only a couple of pots away from securing the frame.
$65.
He was trying to stay on all blacks, but the main thing is to clinch the frame.
$71. $72.
Well, this showing his class here after, as I say, in the previous frame. Missed that absolute sitter of a red into the middle, and that's well
79.
out of his mind now. Winning the frame with one visit.
80. $87.
This is very impressive.
88.
I think his shot earlier in this break, you see him knock this one in. The shot he played earlier in this break to keep it going was fabulous. This was it. Really acute shot. Full-blooded.
95.
Couldn't play it any better. Deserved everything he got after that.
96.
This is a great response. And this, for yet another century at this year's Masters. What a standard.
Superb.
103.
375th career century and the 22nd in this year's Masters. Doesn't matter about that. Barry will stay in his seat.
On the frame.
So you
Drop
can't
drum.
do better than get one chance and knock in a century. A good way to draw level. It's 3 frames each.
But this is a fascinating contest. Of that there's no doubt. Barry Hawkins starting with breaks of 130 and 128. And Judd coming straight back for 2 each, and then 74 and 103. So the scoring has been fantastic in this match, and he's doing very well today, Judd. The question was at the start, Dennis, would he be, would he be able to do it?
Meanwhile, Barry is back into the arena here. And it just has a 6-5 written all over it.
Thank you. The 7th frame. Barry Hawkins to break.
Well, not the best of breakoffs from Barry. I mean, Judd, the way he knocked that century in, he's got an early chance. It's not a gimme, but he's so good at this type of shot. That's what we call a trump special.
Six.
There's the long pot success, 83%, which is very good indeed.
7.
Such a fantastic weapon to have in an arsenal, isn't it?
14.
Just to be able to knock those long pots in, get yourself in amongst the balls. Okay, Barry's break wasn't great, Dennis, was
15.
it? But
I think it's probably something the players should work a little bit more on, the break-off shot, because it's so important these days. It's something you wouldn't normally practice.
22. 23.
This is going to be awkward. He's going to need probably an extended spider to get to this. There's so many balls to bridge over here. He took the risk there, and he's a bit unlucky to finish where he has. I'll just show you that. Played it well enough, but unlucky to stick where it has. And as I say, there's all those balls to bridge over. He's switching hands. Now, this will be useful, but that is just as awkward.
you know what, the way they are, I'm not even sure he can get near that cue ball with a extended. It's just not very often you're bridging over, well, 1, 2, 3 balls in the line. Very tricky to get at. Might just be a safety.
Is he going to have a go with an extended spider just to see what it looks like? Or? Yeah.
Spider, a normal one, extended.
I think it's worth an idea. You know, it's worth a shot, isn't it? Have a go. And if he can play it, he will do. But this will be interesting to see whether he can actually reach over.
That's what we call the extended spider there. There's a swan neck spider also, but I mean this, well, he's quite a tall lad, Judd, so he's smiling because he doesn't fancy this one little bit. Nah, I don't like that. He just wants to keep potting balls, but I think he's going to have to play the safety shot.
Judd Trump, 30.
Yeah, so a little disappointed he broke down 30, but he's played the correct shot there. Simply couldn't get back to the cue ball.
I don't know if there's 2 reds in line for a plant. That's what Barry's looking at, and that tells me that it's on. Looking at Barry's face, he might be able to make this plant. Let's have a look. Yeah.
I think this is virtually plumb, isn't it? The one thing you've got to do with this is, if you know it's a certainty, is play a good positional shot off it.
And he's got a good positional shot off it, and in a couple of shots time he could get on the red next to the black. He might even be able to do it from here. He's okay, he's found the gap for this one, but
5.
first chance he gets, he'll get on that red as closest to the black and get it into play.
Six.
Yeah, there we go. It's the plant into the corner. Nothing worse when you're standing there, Dennis, with your cue in your hand and you look at the table and think, oh no, I've left the plant on.
Yeah, we could see it in his face, couldn't we? He knew straight away, Barry, that he'd left it on, and there could be a few more to come here.
11.
Some very quick frames indeed. We've had 11 minutes, 13 minutes, 11, 12 minutes.
19.
The longest frame, believe it or not, was just over 16 minutes.
20.
Yep, refreshing and really good to watch. Quick fire snooker at its best. And he looks like he's got the momentum now, Judd. Turning this match around.
28. 35. 36.
That's virtually frame ball there. Just the black to make absolutely certain. Still a possible 67 on the table, but this is a formality here.
$43. 44.
This was the safety shot that Barry played. He thought he'd got it
49.
reasonably safe, and then he walked round, seeing that the plant was on, and
50.
that was his last shot in this frame. Look at that, 365 points each. Yeah, that's a point for each day in the year.
58.
Oh, he's taking a bit of time over this. Obviously, he's mad keen on clearing up or making a century. Oh, what a try that was.
He got too much action on it. So is there a double that'll keep? I can show you the shot again. Look at the action on the cue ball there. He'll have to pull off a fantastic double if he's going to give himself a chance of that
64.
century break. A treble will do. A treble will do.
65.
That really was what you call a naughty double that turned into a naughty treble.
Yeah, and he's got the angle here. Pop the black and just flick the red out if he wants. Oh, he's missed the cannon.
Well, even Judd Trump can't pop this one. Right, hit it as hard as you can.
72.
There's 6 pockets. There we go. Go on, Red. Get in somewhere. Unlucky.
72.
No century break. But that was a magnificent effort from Judd Trump. And that break of 72 gets him into the lead. It's 4-3 to the Juggernaut.
Trump to break.
Well, let's see if Judd can make a better break-off shot. remember back in the 70s when Pop Black was going, just one frame. If you won the toss, you didn't want to break off because you were so nervous.
Yeah, with the standards the way they are, it's becoming ever more important, but it's partly to do with the cloth that we play on. You can't quite get all the action and the work on the ball, and the cushion slides so much with the cloth being shaved that it's difficult to widen the angle and get the cue ball down behind a ball colour sometimes. So it's a very big frame for Barry Hawkins. First time he's gone behind in the match.
One.
That shot just shows you how fast this table is, really. He hardly touched that. And look where the cue ball's finished up. Now, this is a tricky little shot to get on the red and pot the brown. He's just playing to drop it in, and it's gone wrong. It was a delicate little cannon that was needed there.
5.
I think he thought he was going to just hit the red on the way across the table there.
Judd Trump, 5.
Yeah, we're talking about the cloth. I was in pretty early this morning and the auditorium was empty. Pete Godwin, the table fitter, was brushing the table down and ironing it, and he said, you know, come over, had a feel of the nap, and it's just literally like a sheet of glass. There's virtually no nap on it at all. And if you haven't got good striking of the cue ball on here, the cue ball flies all over the place with a bit of side, and it won't be coming back, so you do have to hit it properly. Cloth goes through a process of being shaved 2-3 times just to get it down to that specific length. Like the greens at Augusta.
Where's the red going? He almost fluked it, but he got up straight away off the shot, and he might have got away with this. If
Okay,
that
thank
white
you.
is close to the pink, he might not be able to see the potting angle here. Well, it's just away from the pink, so he's just okay. But Judd got up straight away when he played the shot.
One.
Right, watch Judd's reaction here. You see, straight away he knew he hadn't made the correct contact. I don't think he got a kick, did he?
No, we were talking just a minute ago about the side. He's just put a little bit of side on that and it bitten into the cue ball and straightened it up. It was one of those you needed a little bit of left-hand side to come round the angles, and a little touch of side on it to straighten the ball up. Oh.
Barry Hawkins, 1. Thank you.
Chance gone back in there.
One. Eight. Judd Trump, 8.
He didn't cue that very well. So both players starting to feel the pressure out there. Neither of these boys have ever been to the final of the Masters, so it is a big day for them.
big pot that was, lots of pressure on it. Practicing, you'd fancy knocking it in, but this isn't practice. He cued that beautifully. And well, Judd got helped earlier in the match in the third frame with Barry missing a relatively simple shot. Judd's just helped Barry Hawkins out because he must have been thinking in the chair there. I could be going 5-3 down.
9.
And that was a very poor miss from Judd.
Yeah, see, just a little 16. Bit of movement. I know sometimes he does move, Judd, but you heard Sean Murphy and a little chat about the players. Steve Cairn Doherty and Sean Murphy does, and he was expressing how Judd just moves a little bit with his body on the shot.
Okay. $17.
Of course, Sean Murphy was the defending champion here, and Mark Allen played very well to
24.
Knock Sean out 6-4, and I know Sean's an avid snooker fan. He'll be watching all the snooker.
Yes, I can tell you something else. He won't be missing the reds 3 times on the trot again, because he did it in that match. First time ever at the Masters, and forfeited the frame to Mark Allen. You only do that sort of thing once.
31.
Yeah, we've had some magnificent snooker here in this match alone, but it has to be said both players have missed a couple of sitters. As I said, they're both under tremendous pressure going for the first ever Masters final.
This is a lovely opportunity though, just a little series of stuns and screws around the pink. No need to be even contemplating the black the way
39.
These are positioned. .27 lead at the moment, more to come. Didn't play the last shot particularly well though, needed to leave an angle to stun over the 2 reds, so he didn't want to leave the cue ball there. Should have been more over to the right. This is a very
45.
big frame, obviously, in the context of the match, but if Barry Hawkins doesn't win it from here, he'll absolutely kick himself.
46.
Because this is a brilliant chance.
$53. 54.
There's this red and colour. Should see him over the line in this frame.
62.
It's anybody's game at the moment, the way it's going.
Yeah, I mentioned it had 6-5 written all over it. And the last time we played here in 2013, Judd
69.
6 frames to 5. That was in the first round on that occasion.
70.
I can tell you two other people who'd love a 6-5, Dennis. Ronnie O'Sullivan and Stuart Bingham. I want to see both of these two players go through the mill. Make as much out of themselves.
73.
Great double.
Might have to play another double if he hasn't got an angle to get over to the last red. Well, he has a bit of angle here. Come on, knock this in, Barry, and give us another century. It's a tough one, though.
78.
No, doesn't really matter that that's not going in
Very
at the moment.
78.
It's one mistake's costing the players the game. That was a magnificent break of 78 from Barry Hawkins. He had a little help from Judd, but he's all square at 4 frames all.
You don't draw on anything really. All you do is you just play and hope.
Don't think.
You just got to play the balls, and there's the possibility that Judd's suffering a bit, being more the favourite in this match than he was the last, and he may have to call upon a few big shots somewhere down the line to try and get over the line. But Barry Hawkins is not out of it.
Okay, back we go. John, Dennis, is going for this?
Hazel was absolutely right there. She knows this game inside out. He did go for it. He didn't manage to pull it off, and it's a half chance here for Barry. It's not an easy starter for him. But if he can slot this one in, it'll be an early chance for him.
Yeah, he might just choose to play this a little bit like a shot to nothing, where maybe the black will cover the pocket if he doesn't get it, but he didn't. He played it full-bloodedly.
1.
And well done. And it's one of those shots you could play it two ways there, but that was the aggressive way. No thought about missing her. So first chance, Barry
8.
Hawkins in frame 9.
Well, you can see his intention there to get on the pink in such a way that he can then pot it and go into the reds, but
9.
has to be played with a lot of top spin here. You can see him striking the cue ball up near the top. And I was going to say he's a bit unlucky, but maybe the one next to the cue ball, he might have a slight angle to be able to pot it and get on the black. It's a bit close to it though, makes it slightly more difficult.
Oh, the way Barry's looking at it, I don't think
15.
there's too much doubt that he's going to take it on. Once again, just got to be a little careful with your cue in here. Balls are close together. Oh, well played.
16.
Well, if the pink goes into the corner, it wouldn't be a bad
23.
ball to play on to bring reds into play.
Yeah, Dennis, I'm surprised he hasn't had a little look around there.
24.
Oh, the agree with you there. If he could have played a stun out and come on that pink and left it high, he could have potted that and certainly opened the reds out.
It's a bit more difficult off the black. Just played for the end red. Now, will he do it this time?
31.
He's coming round, I think, to have a look at the pink now. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely the shot that'll open the game up.
Well, decided to play and leave it on the low side, so he's going to play the little cannon into the 3 reds to the left of the pink. Be a little bit careful when he plays this. Of course, he's coming near the pink spot. Couldn't hit that any better. Good call, Dennis. You picked the shot up.
38.
And it's happened a few times where Judd just took a difficult long pot on, which he's always going to do anyway, but he's being punished for just that one mistake. Barry's won a few frames with just the one chance. Certainly the 2 opening frames, 130,
46.
128. And then he had a 74 to go back in the lead. 78 and the last to level.
47.
Great stuff.
Yes, and that straight red miss in the last frame from Judd has proven to be very costly. It cost him the last game, but it's thrown a momentum back to Barry Hawkins, who looks like he's queuing like he did in the opening 2 frames again.
$55.
They need to miss too many balls to swing the momentum round. Here's the red. Play all day and he wouldn't miss that in the club. But it's proven at the moment to be very costly.
Well, this is how Barry played when he got to the final of the World Championships a few seasons ago.
Yep.
Queuing superbly well.
Yes, and it took Ronnie O'Sullivan to beat him in the final. Put up a good performance there. Very daunting coming out the crucible for your first final, and you've got arguably the best player who's ever lived in the other chair. He's acquitted himself very well in that.
Okay. 61.
Not far from the winning line in this frame. A couple more pots will be enough. $68 ahead.
68.
And there's a few more to come here, has to be said.
Well, Judd's going to have to go to the well. He's going to have to drag up concentration and focus and all his ability. There'll be 2 frames he needs to win. He's going to have to find it from somewhere.
75.
Played brilliantly yesterday. As good as I've seen him play, but he's going to have to do the same thing for the last 2 frames because Barry Hawkins looks like he's back in stroke.
$83. 84. 91. 92.
This really is a bit special from Barry Hawkins.
Yes, to be able to produce this standard on one of the biggest stages in world snooker, when it means so much to you.
99.
There's a big feather in his cap. This really is excellent stuff.
And this red just for his third century in this match alone. Fabulous from Barry Hawkins.
100.
That's the 24th century in this year's Masters. He sacrificed the position and made sure of the century, but it doesn't matter whether he puts the black or not. He'd like to. And as he got the cannon also, the cue ball might be in the middle pocket, but that doesn't really matter. He got his century break. And what a match we've got on our hands again. Barry Hawkins with breaks of 78, and then that century. He now leads 5 frames to 4, just 1 frame away from a place in the final.
Game, Dennis, he's always taking them on. I don't blame him in the slightest when you're as good as he is. I'm not going to tell him a shot selection for those, because he usually knocks them in, but he did that and left that situation there. I thought Barry Hawkins' opening red was an absolute cracker. I mean, on these tables, on the tournament tables along the top cushion, they're not easy, and he played it the correct way, didn't he? He played it absolutely properly. There's no thought about, I might miss this. This is the red he drops in. I really admire him for playing in like that.
He keeps so still on the shot, and when you think of the breaks he's knocked in, he's had 130, 128, a 74, a 78, and another century there. I mean, it's quite an incredible standard he's produced here in his first ever semi-final of a Masters.
Now the question now is, what has Judd got left? Has he got enough petrol in the tank to turn this around and win the final 2 frames and get into tomorrow's final? He was asked plenty of questions yesterday by Neil Robertson. This is the biggest question to answer now.
Thanks, John. Thank you. Frame 10. Judd Trump to break.
Judd gets frame 10 underway, and he will be hoping that it's not his last frame. And I think this whole Ali Pali crowd would love to see a deciding frame. And there's the fantastic arena. Barry will have other ideas. That's close to the corner pocket, the cue ball. He hit that safety much too thin, but he was never really going to leave anything.
Much too thick on his safety. We'd be delighted the Blues come to his rescue. That'd have been sticking out. He'd definitely been taking it on. A chance for Barry to play good safety here, but you've got to be careful as you don't knock a red over the corner. Good shot.
He's just, got away with it slightly. This is not an easy red that Barry's faced with. If the black was available, he might be able to take it on, but he'd have to punch this in and get up for the blue. And you can see that he's going to attempt that shot, just cueing below centre, just to see how he could leave himself on the blue. The harder he hits it, the less chance he has of knocking it in.
Yeah, the way you line that up, Dennis, it tells me that there's not much angle in this.
See these tight pockets, as soon as you try to force it, it's an easy starter for Judd, but it's not straightforward by any means. The pink's out of commission, the black's tied up. He's got to screw back for the blue here. Not a bad effort from that position.
How well did he hit that with the rest? That was excellent. Talk about his cue power generally, but to get that work there, fabulous.
Blue ball.
Just needs that cue ball to bounce up a touch.
6. Seven.
Well, that's knocked the black safe. It was in an awkward position anyway. He's on a red here, but well, he'll have to call on all his cue power here to screw back. He'll catch the reds. I don't think he might be able to pinch a little bit and avoid that. Yeah, he did do.
11.
And he played it well.
Just got a little bit of angle, but this is far from being an easy chance. Just had a look there to see if he stuns there and leaves the cue ball, plays a little cannon on the two reds to the left of that red, where he can stay on the pink in the centre. We'll be to find out in a minute.
Yeah, I think your shot, John's a good call here.
16.
This could open things up somewhat. He's decided to go through for the blue again, but your
17.
shot was also on. But I think the pink might now be in the open. If it goes into the right corner, he'll have blue and pink to go at. Yeah.
$22.
I don't think the pink's on its
23.
spot, so he'd have to see if he potted the pink. I don't think it'd go back on its spot, but he's got the blue to work with for the time being.
Might only be on 28 points after this blue goes in, but this has been an excellent break so far. It was far from straightforward when he came to the table. That red stuck in the jaws.
28.
And he's just scrapping for position in this break. He's just been slightly off for the last 3 or 4 shots.
29.
Once again, the cue ball's too low, so he's got to go in and out of the balk area. So he's doing well to keep this break going.
Now, how's your luck, Judd? Doesn't look very good.
34.
It was very, very difficult. The previous shot, he couldn't get the correct side of the blue because he screwed back, and if he had hit it any harder, he'd have screwed into the middle pocket. But he's got a nice 34-point advantage.
Yes, I said he was scrapping for position, and eventually it caught up with him. Okay, he's a bit unfortunate to finish where he has done, but and you just got a little bit of doubt of where the cue ball is going to finish, that can happen.
You'd think he'd just come off the red that's near the middle pocket and leave the white up in the jaws of the corner pocket. That would keep things fairly safe. Don't think this pots is quite an acute angle. Well, he thinks he can get it in.
Judd Trump, 34.
A straightforward safety shot, but he thought he could maybe just sneak that red into the middle pocket.
Yeah, I think he also played that with on the understanding that even if he left the cue ball there, what was Barry going to do off it if he pots the red that's in the open? Doesn't look like there's any position for him, so he's completely ignoring that other red. So it was quite a cute little shot Judd played there. Fantastic. Brilliant.
Judd Trump 1.
Nothing wrong with that. Taking the opponent away. Oh, Dennis, how'd you get out of this one?
Well, he's tucked him tight in behind the yellow. Somehow he's got to try and get to the two reds that are to the right of the black spot area, because there's nothing near a cushion to land on. So he's got quite a problem here. I mean, if he can swerve around the yellow a little bit, he could maybe get to those, but I think he's so close to the yellow, it's not going to be easy to do that. Because he's so close to the yellow, he can't play that escape shot. If he was slightly away from the yellow, he could maybe get there. He'd have to really swerve around the yellow to make that angle. He might still, he's thinking about it. If he goes there, he's got an awful long way to travel to get to those two reds. But that's what he's trying. He doesn't want to hit that red the right side of the table. Now this is a pretty good effort. It's a brilliant effort. He's got to those two reds. Fantastic. What an escape he's played there. Terrific.
Another clever little shot from Judd if he gets past the brown. Well, he took the chance there because he just chipped the red onto the side cushion to put it safe. He got a 35-point lead. Black's out of commission at the moment, so he thought it was well worth taking the risk to stick the red safe. Didn't quite get the cue ball right though.
Where's the cue ball going if he pots this? Can he find the gap? Wow.
Well, the black was out of commission. What a shot.
Just okay. I think he was playing for the gap there. That was a bonus to knock the black over the pocket like that. But he'll take it. Now then.
9.
What a chance for Barry Hawkins.
Yeah, and that red that's on the left-hand side cushion that Judd Trump stuck there with the last shot. Okay, it wasn't the best safety shot in the respect of the cue ball, but will that red come to his rescue? There's a lot of snooker to be played before then. The amount of pressure that
14.
these boys are under, you almost think they're going to clear up without thinking about the circumstances. They're that good, but there's a chance to reach his first
15.
Masters final here, and he'll be under the cosh. Don't worry about that.
Twenty. $21.
Yeah, he's had 5 attempts and never got past the first round, but he's made up for all those defeats the way he's played this year. He does strike the ball beautifully, Barry Hawkins. Lovely to watch. Great
26.
rhythm around the table.
Yeah, if he can just stun up onto the pink here.
27.
Once he pots that, it should be on the bottom red.
Or did both of those reds pot? Yeah.
33.
So he's got the one difficult red, as John said. He may take the chance to try and develop that red. Oh, he's just missed it.
34.
Oh, that could have been a match winner there, had he have got the cannon correctly.
Yes, and not only did he just miss the flick on that red, his position's gone awkward. It's one of those he could have missed it and ended up still on the green or the brown or any ball colour, but where it's finished, it's not easy for a pot. It shows you the fine margins, Dennis, doesn't it? He gets that cannon, it could be all over.
Brown ball.
Yeah, he can get in behind the black, I think, if he judges this. They're tough, they're not easy.
Barry Hawkins.
I mean,
34.
in fact, he might even be able to see enough of this red near the pink spot to cut it in. But that last shot he tried is so difficult to judge. But don't be surprised if this doesn't go in. Fabulous shot, and he's got a bit of angle on the brown. Can he somehow, if anyone can get to the last red, it's Judd, but can he have enough angle to miss the green and screw back, John?
I don't know, but now he's thinking, why did I put that red safe? Funny the way the frame works out.
Well, listen, if he can't muster up a positional shot to free the red, why not go in behind the brown and leave him in a very difficult snooker? But if there's half a chance he can get to the red, he'll take it. He might have to play a little sort of a banana type shot when he screws it back. But now he's looking at going in behind the brown, which wouldn't be a bad choice.
Brown ball.
Yeah, I like this shot.
Judd Trump 1.
I don't think that's the best way of playing it, though. I'd have been cutting off the top cushion. Still, it gives him the opportunity to drop on this dead weight, which he wouldn't have had if he'd have covered that off, Judd.
Foul. You miss.
Yeah, he won't mind giving a couple of
Judd Trump 4.
penalty points away as long as he just drops on it, but I'm with you, John. He should have blocked this escape route.
You think about it, where that is, Dennis, it would have been an absolute stinker to get out of if he's blocked this line off, but where this is, he's just going to keep playing the same shot.
Yeah, Judd.
The only thing is, if he hits it slightly harder than he intends, he could push it over the middle pocket. Well, it's a containing shot, but he could be in behind the pink here.
Yes, Barry made sure there that he played cushion first, so it took away the chance of promoting that red a little. We haven't had many close frames in this match. It's all been about heavy-duty scoring, but we've got one now.
Well, it's great, I mean, to see the big breaks and that, but a lot of people enjoy this just as much. It's much more tense when the frame's like this. His main concern here is to try and get that red ball safe. Well, he knocked a similar pot in the other way round previously when he cut one in off the pink spot. This time the red's near the brown spot. Oh, how close was that? He needs this cue ball to get tight on the cushion to make it awkward for Barry. This is far from easy. It looks to be almost straight, John.
Yeah, that's what he'd be looking for. He'd be looking for it to be bolt straight to make it more difficult. But I'm not so sure it is. Still a tough pot, this, though. That was far from easy. Throw in the fact of the circumstances. That red must have looked like the size of a football.
Wow, look at the expression on Barry's face there. Oh, he can get a snooker here, you know. There's Judd's parents there, Stephen, Jardine, and they will be so tense. It's worse sometimes watching. That's one of Judd's good friends there next to his parents.
Yep, follows into all the tournaments. Biggest fan. Terrible watching.
Now, is he going to risk swinging this around the angles to try and get in behind the well, the green and black are in a good position, so if he was to sort of even get a cannon on the brown, it would be pretty good. He's hit it a bit thin. He's hit it far too thin. Oh, he's made a bad mistake there. But the blue has gone into an awkward position, but that was a good chance.
Thank you. Settle down, please.
To play a snooker, and he just hit it far too thin.
Yeah, just, as you say, Dennis, just too thin. Trying to get it round there. And well, ordinarily, this would be a red that would be food and drink to Barry Hawkins, but this is not ordinarily. And I'm not so sure the blue has gone safe. Big shot.
One.
Well, he's already looking at the blue, so not for this shot, but he's going to need that, and if he could just get in behind it, that would be all he'd need, John.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. It actually is a perfect angle. If it's not as bad, it's perfect. The green's going to go past the brown. If he could drop the blue in. He'd have a straight shot at the yellow, even though he'd be a little closer to the cushion, but anyway, the green is as good as anything. I was just thinking for a little bit later for blue to pink whether it's going to be a bit more awkward, but you know, come to that when he gets to it.
Well, just looking at the score, when he pots the yellow, will be all square, 40 points each. So he's going to need the pink. So even if he gets onto that blue, I don't think he can do much with it to get up close to the pink. So there's a little bit of tension left in this frame.
Nine.
Yes, this is the big shot. If he can just knock this in and get the correct angle on the blue, just to give himself a little chance of pushing through it and getting closer. But as I say, it's the way he's cueing it, Dennis, it's not great, is it?
He can't do much with the blue. He can only just drop it in, and he'll have to leave a very difficult pink. And that's why he's tried to move it slightly.
13.
Oh, he's pretty close to the blue. It will go into the left corner, but what a shot to judge.
Settle down, please.
This is so awkward.
Yeah, he'd also like to stun it a little bit. He just had a little look to see if the centre pocket was in the way. Tough shot.
It's there. What a shot he's played there. And he's perfect
18.
on the pink. Unbelievable shot. Judd Trent thought he had a lifeline there, but what a shot. And Barry Hawkins pulled off. Unbelievable match. And that's what it means to Barry Hawkins. He's made 3 century breaks, and it's nice to see the two boys having a chat there. He's reversed that result when he lost a couple of years ago, 6-5, and he's a very popular winner. Barry Hawkins defeats Judd Trent by 6 frames to 4. Great match, boys.
Well, an exciting
What a blip.
He's
We all
done
know
it
how good
again.
he is. I mean, we all know how good he is. That was a fantastic performance.
Brilliant, Barry.
Great
Rate
cheese.
that performance. Rate that performance, especially in the latter part of it, and that blue that you took on at the end. It was a real judgment call for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, it was a chance, you know what I mean? I had to just, I've got to go for it anyhow, really. You can't refuse that, you know. You pot that, it's game over, and that's what happens. So,
on the TV, the blue was too difficult from where it was. You decided to move it?
yeah,
Or tried to get behind it? Or?
I wanted to play out well. Before I potted the long red, I was thinking if I get on the brown, then I'll pot the blue, you can only draw.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I couldn't, it weren't the right angle. I couldn't force it in and get down for the pink. So, where we go,
praying and hoping it was going to go in, yeah?
It's a blind pocket shot, and it's horrible. You just pick an angle and just hope for the best. So, yeah, lucky for me, it went straight in the middle. But yeah, even that pink, I was shaking all over the place on the pink.
How did you approach the game? Did you think that, you know, sort of Judd obviously yesterday was played fantastic, but in a way it perhaps calmed you down and thought, I'm the underdog a bit, you can just
go out
and relax?
He was definitely, he was obviously favourite to beat me the way he played yesterday, but I always knew, like, if you can take your practice game out there, you've got a chance. And today I managed to, I managed to do that, really.
You started it like a train, back-to-back centuries. It was an absolutely sparkling start, and we were in the 3rd frame. You had a chance, missed that pink, to really put him under the cosh early on.
I was a bit disappointed in the interval, to be honest with you, because when you're on a roll like that, you know, I was thinking, right, if I get 3-0 in front there, I'll be over the moon with 3-1 in the interval. So it was a good chance to just keep him off the table, really, and not get his arm going at all. So I was disappointed to miss that pink, but yeah, Terry calmed me down a little bit in the interval. And,
yeah, we were saying that, but we were watching the Judd Trump Neil Robinson match together, weren't we, in Mike Ganley's room, and he said, I hope he's burnt himself out. But
I know,
and the way you started off was absolutely flyer. I mean, you had 3 centuries, 74, 78.
Yeah, it was
fantastic snooker.
It was a good game,
So Barry, where's this come from? I probably...
Don't ask me, I'm not sure.
Well, you know, we've just been talking about the fact you've been coming to the Masters since, what, 2007. You'd never won a game until this year. Why this year?
I don't know, it's probably a little bit similar to the Crucible. I won a game there and it settled me down, so perhaps that's what's happened here. And yeah, I can't believe I'm in the final now. I've got a chance, well, I've got a chance of winning it, so yeah, I'm over the moon now.
As you say, that run to the final at the Crucible, what, 2013, you get there, you meet Ronnie O'Sullivan in the final, and the consistency that you've shown at the Crucible thereafter, 2 semi-finals, you're the only fella that's done that, 3 semi-finals or better over the last 3 years. And I just wonder what it's done for you, those performances in your career overall, and what it tells you about yourself now.
Well, it tells me I can do it on the biggest stage, so it gives you a lot of belief. But I need to try and get that mentality for the other tournaments, because it just seems to be happening in these big ones. I know it ain't a bad thing, obviously, but yeah, if I can try and get myself the same sort of like up for it in the other tournaments, then maybe I can be a little bit more consistent. So there's something to work on for sure. But yeah, I don't know why. I just seem to enjoy these ones at the moment.
Having been in the World Championship final and having come up against Ronnie O'Sullivan, I remember it was maybe the season afterwards, you found it a bit of a letdown. Was it hard to live up to that? Was it hard to follow that performance and achievement up for a bit?
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I think because I played so much the last 2 or 3 years, when Barry Earn first came in, he put on so many tournaments and you just feel like you got to play in every single one. It was unusual for us to turn down tournaments, if you like. So we felt like we had to play in everything. So, and that's what I did. And maybe I just got a little bit fed up with the game for a little while. So nothing like a good few defeats to kick you out the bum to try and get the motivation back, really. So yeah, no, it's just trying to get sound a bit like Ronnie, but obviously different kettle of fish. But it's trying to get the balance right a little bit.
But just how special is it? This is your hometown. You're a Londoner, and to be in the Masters final here, what does it mean?
I can't believe it. Yeah, it's like I say, it's you watch all the other players over the years getting to the final, and some great finals over the years. So yeah, to finally get to the final, this one is yeah, it's an unbelievable feeling, really. So I'm delighted.
Congratulations, Barry. Very well played, and I know you'll watch with great interest events tonight to see who you'll be playing. It'll be either Ronnie O'Sullivan or indeed Stuart Bingham, and this is a repeat, this match, of a match that you might remember.